There are still a few days left to catch one of Boston's favorite and most unique holiday performances, the Urban Nutcracker. Now in its 16th year, the staged fusion of classical ballet, jazz, hip-hop, and tap is quite a spin on the holiday classic. And as arts editor Jared Bowen shows us, its history runs deep.
The Urban Nutcracker is more than just a production, an artistic production. It's about human beings, actually, and it's about people of different backgrounds.
So let's do that adage now at the bar.
At the Tony Williams Dance Center in Jamaica Plain, its namesake director is busy leading rehearsals for a nutcracker like no other. Here you won't find neat rows of dancers in matching white leotards and pointe shoes. Instead, Williams has opted for a menagerie of bright colors, modern dance, and a swinging score. Something he was inspired to create after watching two of his dance students back in 2001.
I just heard Duke Ellington's Three Suites, which he does 8 pieces of the Tchaikovsky Nutcracker, and I had this Ricardo doing hip-hop and Clee doing tap, and I was saying, oh, why don't we put the traditional old with the new?
Williams' career is based on the unconventional. Born in Naples, Italy, but raised in Boston, he became the first African-American principal dancer with Boston Ballet in 1965.
Did that level of sort of breaking barriers and knowing it's okay to do something like that, has that informed ultimately where you got to today?
You know, being raised in the 50s with a black father, white mother, and the projects right down the street, Bromley Heath, it's like being biracial. It's like you're in two worlds. In the early days, Boston Ballet, when I first went there, it were all white people, one Asian American, and so it's like I felt like a fish out of water. And someone said, "Oh, you know, you should not tell people you're half color. You should just go with the white side."
It was advice Williams willfully ignored. His career at Boston Ballet ballooned, and he ultimately wound up performing nutcrackers across the country, Canada, and even Europe. After retiring from dance, Williams saw an opportunity to use his experience to create a new, more inclusive nutcracker. For Ruth Whitney, who danced countless nutcrackers herself, it's that difference in programming she finds refreshing.
I guess what appeals to me is it's not a normal nutcracker. Like, there are a million nutcrackers, and they're usually very classical, and everybody is pointing their feet, and everybody knows the story. And I really like that it's accessible to a lot of people, that the music isn't all the same, that the dancers aren't all the same, that Tony Williams at the head of it also really has an interest in being inclusive and in showing a lot of different dance forms.
Another twist in this production, the setting. Williams' Urban Nutcracker takes us into a Boston we know, with visits to downtown Crossing, beneath the bright lights of the Citgo sign, to the Prudential, and even Fenway Park. For 13-year-old Amaya Kothandaraman, who plays a variation of the Nutcracker's Clara, the production is a thrill.
It's really fun because I've never been the lead role in any Nutcracker before, so it's a big accomplishment. I like being on stage and being able to perform for a lot of people.
Now, on this one, can you do the Suzu little copy or something like that? That's it.
And in year Sweet 16, Williams has built an audience to match his diversity on stage.
What I see in my production is the diversity in the audience, and then it's kind of cool because you have diversity on the stage, you have diversity in the dance styles, you have diversity in the music, and the audience really digs what's going on stage. The performers pick up what the audience is digging, and it's like sort of like an electrical connection, and there's a charge that goes through.
A charge that keeps this Nutcracker current.
And Jared Bowen joins me now. Hey, Jared.
Hi, Adam.
So how do they keep this thing fresh? Because it's supposed to be edgy, and I would think they have to revamp it again and again and again to keep it that way.
Yeah, well, this is year Sweet 16, and last year they redid the sets, they redid the costumes, so it feels a lot fresher than when I first saw it many years ago, not too long after it first launched. But the great thing about this show, it almost has, because there were so many disparate elements that come together, it almost has this America's Got Talent feel to it, because there was one act in the second act where you're visiting all the different lands and meeting all the different people, where you have these people on the sort of those pogo balls bouncing around, you have hula hoops, you have all these different talents brought together, which just makes it very engaging and very community oriented.
What are some other big changes from year one, besides the performers? Have they made other shifts that stand out to you as someone who's seen this?
Well, I think it's much more reflective, not more reflective, but it's as reflective of the community as when Tony Williams first envisioned this piece. And you have to think now, even 16 years later, given the time we're in, how much conversation we have about race and the place of race in society today, it's as relevant as ever.
So if people want to catch it, how much longer does it run?
It runs straight through this week. So it's a perfect way to take the kids and have some fun, as I did with my young nieces and nephews.
Nice,